Mark the Guitar Guy here. Welcome to another live session here. Another live stream for you guys. Going 2 camera angles, getting all crazy on it today. Just want to let me know whereabouts you guys are watching from. Just put it in the comments. That'll be really, really cool. And I'm just solo again today, so I don't have any help. Nikita's not feeling too good, so she's gonna sleep in because it's like 6:30 in the morning here at the moment as we're recording this. But I'll play a little bit of stuff in the meantime. Just let me know. Yeah, we've got 8 people already watching. This is cool. And just chuck a comment in, say who you are, where you're watching from, and can you hear everything all right? That's another thing, making sure, right? Make sure we're technically all good to go. So I'm going to play a little bit of stuff in the meantime while you do that, okay? We got John from California straight away. John Hickenkamp. Hope I'm sounding good in California, mate. Hopefully the sound is traveling beautifully from New Zealand to where you are. So. Paul, how you going, brother? Paul's one of our Patreon members and a good buddy of mine from Liverpool. Traveling good. Oh, the sound's traveling good, John. Nice to hear, buddy. I'm going to show you some cool acoustic stuff today. I'm going to show a few cool ideas I like to use when I'm playing acoustic guitar and some weird keys. And some of the keys might surprise you. So, and I'll go over a little bit of that stuff for you guys to give you. It should be quite fun. It should be quite fun. I'm going to show you some of my tricks of the trade that I sneakily use when I'm doing gigs and things like that. So we've got Cody from Georgia, USA. Love your content, brother. Hey, thank you, Cody. And when I remember, I'll do things like that for people. But I just have to stop playing and do that because I've only got one. There is technical little things I can do with my feet if I get really clever with StreamYard and things like that. But we'll see how pro we get. So I'm going to also share with you some really cool ideas that I've got that's going to be happening on the Patreon page. Paul, I know you're a member of the Patreon, and it'll be some very sweet ideas for those of you that are learning guitar and wanting something constantly on a weekly basis that they can add into their practice schedule. So stay tuned for those concepts. So I'm quite excited about them because I think if I was learning guitar, I'd really like to have this feature. So it should be cool. So let me play just a little bit of guitar, yeah? So let's just play for a little bit and then let's get into some questions. If you've got a question to ask me, please do not. I'll put Paul up there because he's so awesome. He's such a boss. And yeah, ask me a question. I'm here for you guys to, whatever question you've got. It can be about any aspect of guitar. I'm playing acoustic, but it can be about anything. It doesn't just have to be about that, all right? Andy Glazer. Hey, Mark. Andy from Boston, USA. Learning at an older age. You are the best. Oh, thank you, mate. What's an older age for you, Andy? What's older? Because I bet lots of the guys on here watching right now are probably the same age as you are right now. Cool. So while you guys put a few more questions and that sort of thing up there, or the comments, I'm just going to be chilling, playing a bit of guitar. I'm going to do a bit of stuff in the key of E major. So E is not normally a bad key for guitar, but it really is. E major is. E minor is a nice key. We've got lots of cool stuff. But E major, we've got these pesky things like C sharp minors and Bs in the key, which are a little bit annoying. F sharp minors, even on bass chords and things like this. So I'm just going to go over a little bit of cool stuff in the key of E because I love the key of E. But I've found a few cheats to get away from having to do C sharp minors purely, things like this. So if that sounds good to you, let me know. By the way, thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up in the chat. It really does help the algorithm and it gets my name out there and helps support me for doing all this sort of stuff. I'd love to get this channel just a bit more grunty, and that's my own fault because I haven't been doing regular stuff, but I have been lately. I've been doing, this is my like 10th live stream in a row in the weeks, and so I'm just committing to doing this every single week with you guys, whether no one shows up or 1,000 show up. But it does help the algorithms and pushes out for the rest of the channel and supports me for all the other things I'm trying to do. So we got Andy, you've just said g'day. We got John. What are your favorite guitar strings? My favorite strings are elixirs. You might know that if you've ever seen my other video on how to change strings. Elixirs are just my favorite strings, but there are some amazing strings out there. What about elixirs? Elixirs don't sponsor me at all, although they have gotten in touch with me, so we might be able to do something together. But elixirs have a coating on them, and which means that they last a lot longer, so they sound good for longer. So for me, that's great. When I'm doing a 3-hour gig, normally you'd throw the strings out after 3 hours if you want them to sound good the next day. But if I use elixirs, I can use, honestly, I can use them for months and they sound amazing, which is kind of crazy. We've got Shokri, I won't say the last name, fan from Ohio, USA. Thanks, from Ohio. Nice, man. We got lots from the States today, so I think maybe this time might work out good for you guys. Is that right? Is it Shokri or Chokri? I think it might be, or Chokri, if I get that correct. Really sorry if I pronounce your names wrong, guys. You can pronounce mine wrong all you want. Andrew Marriott. Hi, Mark. Great to see you again. Yes, Andrew. Good to see you again too, buddy. You're a loyal follower and watcher. Which one was it? Which one was right? Is it Shokri or Chokri? Or am I totally doing that different? You said they're perfect. I'm just going to give you all of them at the moment. But yeah, please let me know. Cool. So let me play a bit of guitar anyway, because you guys are not in the stream or going, what just get on with it. So the key of E is kind of a fun one, right? Normally here's our E. I'm trying to get that other camera involved. We've got like E. We've got F sharp minor. There's a on bass chord here, which I need to show you this cool on bass chord if you've never done this one here. The shape here is bass. It's pretty much just a D with an F sharp bass, right? We're just turning it into a bar chord. So we're kind of doing a version of this as a chord that we can move up the neck, right? And it's a really cool shape. I'm going to show you the shape right now because it's really, really crucial to get, but it's a really hard one to get initially. So let me position this camera so it's a bit friendlier, and then we can get into that. So what are we going to do here for this shape? We've got our first finger is going to play the 4th string, 2nd fret, right? Don't worry about the 2nd finger yet. We're just going to get these bottom 3 fingers down. So we'll get our first finger is going to be playing, in this case, the E note, E major note. So that's the 2nd fret on the 4th string. 3rd finger is going to be playing the 4th fret of the 3rd string. So 3rd string, 4th fret. Little finger on the 5th fret of the next string, which is the B string, okay? So we've got this little E chord going on, and within those 3 strings. That's our chord for the main chord. So if it's like an E with a G sharp bass, which is what this chord is, it's an E just done in a different position. It's like using a D shape for those that know the cage system, okay? Let me just position this camera a little bit better too, so you can see that different. So here's the chord shape here, those 3 fingers, and now bass note. Now I have to get my thumb super low and on a slight angle. Just got to tilt slightly to get that 2nd finger right up to the top string to get that bass note, which is the G sharp note, which is my bass note, my on bass note. And it's going to cancel out the A string, just naturally does it. It sort of plays this 4th fret, and which is the G sharp note, and just kills the note below it, the string below it. So you get this like kind of cool little shape. Oh, the 2nd shot. I just got a thing for it. I can't even remember which one I did 2nd now, Shokri, but let's say Shokri. Let's say that for now. I'll call you that for now. Sea Dog could be the other one. So that's my on bass chord right there. So that shape there can be moved, but that's a real weird shape when we first do it. Don't worry, when you first do it, you think, how am I doing this? It's probably just a thumb position or a wrist movement thing. But we do have this weird, look at my hand if I show you in the main camera, that is kind of like what my hand has to do. That's just relaxed there, but it looks that does not look sexy at all. But that is pretty much what's happening underneath behind the guitar here. That's in behind the scenes. You can see this little bony little wrist thing happening here. That's how I get that chord. So anyway, that's my on bass chord for that. And that'll get you through a lot of other things. There's lots of other chords. You can kind of see it in there, or you can hear it in. It's the 2nd chord shape in that progression there. It's really nice. You can hear it in there again. It's a really lovely chord. So going through it. So we've got E, F sharp minor. We've got the on bass chord. We've got an A, we've got a B, we've got a C sharp minor or C sharp minor here, and then there's another on bass chord, which I call it's a B with a E flat bass note, which we'll show you as well, and then E. So there's a lot of cool chords in there, but not fun to play, right, when you do them in the traditional position. You can hear that. You can hear those chords going on in there, which just give you the key of E. So, and we all know E, A, and B. We use them all the time in songs, but I'm going to give you some cool ways of doing that. So this cool way, I call it the Dave Matthews chords, if you've never done these before. In my mind are the Dave Matthews chords, because when I worked out the song Crash, which is this, I'm sorry, Shokri, I'll get your stuff off there. You've got the song that's like, to me, that's just the most delicious little chord progression, because you've got these two notes ringing right throughout it, but it's in the key of E. So let's go through what we're doing here. So the first chord in this song is a C sharp minor. Now this C sharp minor can be used anytime you want to use a C sharp minor, pretty much. Really, really interesting shape. Now the C sharp's done with my third finger, so there's nothing happening on the top string. Let's get that other camera in a nicer position. Again, I'm just trying out this 2 camera options to see if it's beneficial for you guys. So here we have over here, we've got the third finger is playing the 4th fret on the A string, okay? And then the first finger is playing the string below that, which is the D string. So that's playing right there. That's playing that note right there. 2nd fret on the 4th string. And then the little finger is playing the 4th fret also on the, what's that string? On the 3rd string, right? That's all it is, 3 strings. Nothing on the top string. So if you look at tab, nothing, 0, 4, 2, 4, 0, 0. And then when you play it, you've got these, if I play it one note at a time. Isn't that nice? Those little, the way that rings. And so that gives you that C sharp. So normal C sharp minor. In the background, being from a Scottish heritage, way back in my genealogy going up there, there's quite a lot of Scottish influence in there. So you find those bottom 2 strings there. Bottom 2 strings are sort of like the pipes, you know. You can hear the pipes in there quite easier. So you can hear those kind of constantly there. So that gives you that note. Now the cool thing about this shape, you don't have to move your fingers much with it. If I give you an example, there's a C sharp. Now an A, let me get that other camera back in shot. There's an A, I just lift my 3rd finger. There's the 3rd finger off. And there is an A. Pretty cool. C sharp minor, lift a finger, A, because it's an open string. That one's just nothing on the top string, then it's 0, 2, 4, 0, 0. If I get my fingers out of the way, you can see the notes that are actually being played. Just those notes there. And then you've got a B. If we put our first finger on the B and our 3rd finger here, so basically the top part of a B minor chord, just with the bottom strings open, and you play them from there down. So you've got 2, 4, 4, 0, 0. Nothing on the top string, 2, 4, 4, 0, 0. And then my thumb can stay high in these positions, so I don't have to do anything crazy here. So you got this C sharp minor, there's an A, there's a B. Now an E, because we're in the key of E major, we just have to lift the little finger off. First finger covers, this is the kind of a tricky part, it's covering 2 notes at the same time. The way we do that, little finger's going to, by the way, it stays the whole time. This little finger does not budge. It stays right there. So it's going to get a little bit sore as we practice this, because it's been playing it all the time. But that'll sit there on that 4th fret of the 3rd string. The E, first finger is going to aim between the 2 fingers, the strings I should say, on an angle. So we're not going directly down like we would normally. We're kind of hitting it on an angle in between the 2 strings, right up against the fret. That should take out both strings. So we end up with 2 and 2. So that's kind of like a little mini bar chord getting there. We've got a 0. Now we're playing the top string. And then we've got 2, 2, 4 0 0. So really drone chord, that one. Really cool, big E chord. I love that. Pretty sweet, right? How cool's that? So if we add the E, and if we did E A, here's my E, here's my A, and here's a B. That covers a lot of songs you might be doing, like E A, A B, E A. I'm just putting a bit of groove in it. It's quite cool, and you might hear a few famous songs. If I could sing that. He doesn't know what you say. Same chords. Literally the same chords. And so we had a C sharp minor, we've got a B, A, and you've also got a G sharp minor by just keeping the A shape going in these two fingers here, which is A is 0 2 4, A 2 4. And we just add the bass note, the on bass note in here. So I quite like this chord shape, this chord sequence. So it's worthwhile practicing these shapes. I don't know if I've done them all. I've got E, there's an F sharp minor in there. What I do for that, I actually come off and do this F sharp minor. This F sharp minor is really pretty. It's so instead of doing an F sharp minor bar chord, full chord, all I'm doing here is 2, first finger. I'm cancelling out that A string, the next one underneath, and then it's 2 2, which is the next 2 notes in line. Let's get in front of the camera a little bit more. 2 2 2 and 0 0. Let's see what happens when I bring the camera over here. Let's see if that's a little bit easier. So yeah, 2, that's probably a little bit easier, a little bit better shape. 2 2 2 and then 0 0, bottom 2 strings. So go through those again. So we've got, that's F sharp minor. That gives you a really nice sounding F sharp minor. And you can slide that up 2 frets and make a G sharp minor. Just like that. Quite interesting shapes, huh? I've got a little comment here. Let's have a look. Big Papa Ryu, is it? G'day, Mark. What's a cool spacey chord I can play where picking the individual strings sounds kind of mystical, if that makes sense? Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I've got a few options for you there. Spacey kind of mystical chords. One of my favorites, this is kind of random in a random key, but it's this one here. If I did this and just, can you hear those little close notes inside that? It's kind of a really pretty chord. I like it in the key of E. So it's probably not quite in the key of it. So it's probably the key of B actually. You could use this, but so what this chord is, I have no idea. It's a G sharp minor-ish, something special. Someone that probably has studied knows what they would call that. I'll give you the tab for the chords, okay? So tab first, don't worry about fingers, all right? So we've got top string, we've got 4. It cancels out, this finger's cancelling out the string below, okay? So 4 across, nothing then, 4. 3, 0 on the next string, and then 2 on the bottom string. Okay, so it kind of looks like I'm playing a C chord. If I took my little finger out, it kind of looks like I'm playing a C or an F chord, but not quite. It's quite an interesting little shape. So if I go from the top again, my third finger here is playing the bass notes, cancelling out the string underneath. The little finger's doing the next one, so you're giving those notes. Then you've got a really close note, which is this next note down here. The second finger does that, and there's a gap, and I love this in this position. So I use it quite a lot. Oh, that's cool. Big Papa's happy with that one. Good to see. Good to see Big Papa's happy with that. So if I did something like that, making something pretty, I'll do something like that. So I've got like this G sharp minor, let's call it an open chord, G sharp minor open chord. got these nice little notes going on, and I pick out a few chimey notes. As long as I start on the bass note, and I just pull out different notes as I'm picking. I'm going from there. I like this next chord shape into an E major 9, okay? The E major 9 is really interesting. It looks really crazy shape as well. It's just an E major. Here's my E major. But on the the fourth string, I'm replacing that note with the 2nd fret with the 4th fret note, which will give me the 9th. Gives me that. Just kind of that kind of sound. So, and its little finger stays where it is, so therefore I can go really pretty chord down to a nice E major 9. And then if I want to, I can do that B chord that I did before. And then I can do, if I wanted to, an F major, F sharp major with the bottom strings open. So here's another good cheats acoustic guitar chord. There's my F sharp, right? Which is normal F sharp, bar chord on the 2nd fret. Just lifting the bottom end of the bar chord down here, down the bottom, I can all of a sudden, you can hear the open strings. So that, which sound kind of cool for B, because you've got these 2 open strings for a B. Now, you don't expect just to know this stuff. You've got to kind of program it in so you can kind of think, oh, I'm playing F sharp, I wonder if the open strings will work. You've got to figure that out straight away so it works or not, or you just know after playing lots of times that you know it's going to be awesome. But so here we are, the G sharp minor with that crazy chord we did, E major 9, and then the B with the open strings, and then the F sharp with the open strings. So if I play those over and over, it's a fun little exercise. Bar of that and a bar of E, just picking out notes. Just a bit of a different chord in there. See, that's the sort of thing like you guys probably enjoy as well. You're sitting around by yourself, trying to come up with some crazy chords that are really interesting to me, like those, especially that G, and all of a sudden, it sounded kind of fun, didn't it? Sounds like there's a 9th in there. Well done with the 9th. I know both those probably have a 9th in there, right? If I had to count it through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you're right. There is a 9th in there. So it could be a G sharp minor 9 with something maybe sprinkled in there as well. What else we got here? Your last week's illustration on picking helped me out today. Thanks. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Thanks. Cool stuff. Have a good day, my man. Cheers for that. Yeah, hopefully these live streams are working out well and you guys are learning lots of stuff. Matt Davies. Matt, who is my longest standing student. Matt Davies, as far as Skype goes. We've been doing Skype lessons since I started doing them. He was, I think, invoice number 2 or 3 or something, weren't you, mate? And that was back when I was in Thailand and I had crazy long hair. But Matt is a bit of a gun, to be honest now. He's been locked up in COVID for so long, like all you guys. He doesn't actually know how good he is because he's been just basically playing guitar and looking after his family all this time. Invoice number 2. Invoice number 2 for Matt. It's pretty cool, eh? So yeah, these sort of chords, guys, they're kind of beautiful chords, right, on acoustic guitar. And of course, we're looking at one side of it with the left hand with these chord shapes. So what I would do, they're called substitutions, when sometimes you can easily substitute a chord out. So instead of playing an E major, like we talked about before, and I'm just going to put this camera back over here again. So instead of playing just an E major, a little bit further over so I can sit a bit nicer. Instead of just playing an E major chord and going, oh, that's cool, good old E major, nothing wrong with that. You could do the interesting drone chord instead, right? Or we could do the major 9 chord, right, which was the E major 9 chord. So what I would do when you're practicing this as a practical example is, is one Nikita? No, it's not. I don't think it is Nikita. It could be, I should look into that. We might have tried invoicing her first just to see if it worked because we were just using PayPal for the first time. Sam Darris, thanks, Mark. Thank you, bro. But yeah, these chord shapes, what you do is just learn one chord substitution and get to know that really well. And once that's programmed, you do the next one. So you wouldn't be trying to learn, you know, like every substitution you can. Like if I learn E and I learned that one substitution, let's say it's the drone chord, right? The drone shape here, 0, 2, 2, 4, 0, 0. So if I learnt that, I wouldn't be trying to learn the E major 9 on the same day. I'd be learning that maybe 2 or 3 days later, or maybe another week later. And so I'd want to be doing things like, let's say I did a song and it was E, A, B, for example, right? E, B, right? Sounds like a famous song we know. So instead of doing E, A, I might do it the E, the drone way. And then do the drone again. So I get used to trying the other option out. And a good way to program into the subconscious is to do the basic E. So do the home E, like the default E that you always know, and then replace it straight away with the drone. So what that does, it solidifies that that is also in the family of E. So when you're thinking E, your subconscious doesn't, it's not a conscious thing. Your subconscious just gives you a couple of options and goes, oh, do you want to do the drone, or do you want to do the another option of E that you might have? Because I've got these programmed because I've played them so many times, but I know they're all in the same family and they're all going to work. And it's just a matter of which one I want to do out of interest. So if I've got a bunch of substitutions, then you can have a lot of fun. So let's say my chords were just E and A, right? Let's just do E and A. Here's my E, basic E, basic A. Okay, and that sounds fine. And then I might want to throw in some substitutions. So I might do the drone E and the drone A. Drone A is just bringing that first finger. So I like that. So I like that more, to me, my own ears, but it depends on the song, right? In some songs that's not going to work too well. I might be doing an E here and doing an A like a... We'll do the A with the open strings at the bottom. Oops. I might do an E and A slightly different like this. Out of interest, this one's quite a simple change from what we were doing down here. So the C sharp, remember the C sharp minor shape we did way earlier on, which was nothing on top, it was 4, 2, 4, 0, 0. So that same shape, we can drag right up to the 11th and 9th fret. So that's the 11th fret here and 9th fret here. And we're doing the same shape, and now we can turn it into an E major. Even though it was a minor before, really weird, now it's an E major 9 chord, so I think, or major 6, one of those two. Someone else out there clever will tell me that. What was that, Matt? Sounds crazy. That song taught me a lot about substitutions. Sounds like crazy. Oh, crazy. Yeah. Sounds like crazy. I know what you're talking about, Matt. You're talking about. That's the one I did the video on. The one we're never gonna survive. My voice is too early for it to sing that one. Unless get a little crazy. Great song for that. That was one of the first songs we did together, Matt. It was one of the first together. In fact, that was a song you came to me on because you'd already learnt it on using my videos, and then we just had to give it a wee tickle up, get that rhythm sounding mean, which you now have well and truly, haven't you? So yes, we've got the that shape there is a beautiful shape. But it's a little bit more. Because it's so pretty and has a few other notes in it, it's not going to work every time you do an E major, that one there. So don't be too surprised if it doesn't always work, that one that I just did on the 11th and 9th fret there. But I do love that because we've got the big E in the bottom here ringing. And to do an A version of that, I can just lift that third finger just like we did before, and it's got an open A string on that string. Now we've got this interesting couple of notes in there we wouldn't expect. So here's my E, I lift that finger, and there's an A. Back to an E. Pretty cool. So there's all sorts of fun things we can do while we're in that position, but I think you get the gist of that. So that substitution stuff's kind of fun. If you ever do that, I think it's one of the really, really cool things you can do, but just do it one chord at a time. Don't get too carried away. Or if you're really up for it, do a progression like the E, A, B, for example, or even just EA, even EA, like I just said, E and A, and you find some substitutions for E and A. So there are many we can use, and the way the guitar is tuned, we can use those open strings to our advantage. We don't have to have these crazy finger shapes, even though I showed you one in the beginning. You don't have to do crazy finger shapes to get through it. You really don't need to. The idea is to make things more pretty and interesting is basically what you've got to do as an acoustic guitar player. So by the way, fire away question. I'm just assuming you guys are watching and just going, okay, this is all good. Just keep doing what you're doing because this is good stuff. But yeah, it's pretty simple. It's simple little ideas we're doing on the left hand. We're not trying to do anything too outrageous even, but notice sonically how interesting these chords are, but they're quite simple shapes. So it's not necessary that you have to do like a full-on bar chord all the time. There are little tricks sometimes. I don't like playing bar chords all day long. It's just I can do them and I have done them, but I've just gotten sick of the same sound of the basic chords. So I'd rather do that little cool trick like I just did then. That's an A, and I lifted the bottom string. So I'm only barring, not barring at all actually. I'm only playing this bass note, and then the rest of the fingers are doing their thing, and then the bottom two strings are open. And in the key of E or A or even B, I can do that quite easy because these bottom two strings are going to work really well. And I know that sonically, not theory-wise, but if you are a good theory person, you might be able to figure that out theory-wise. So B works out really well as well, see? There's certain chords where it sounds really good with that bar chord shape. There's an A. And then sometimes I can use, instead of doing E in a normal shape, I would use this shape that I've already got here as my E, lift this finger off. Here's an E shape. I can just drag that down. That's a cheats way you can do it without any issue. You can do your E that way, A, B, and that way you don't have to bring these fingers off. You can just leave these fingers on and just slide them up and down. And then you got the, I love that chord, F sharp. F sharp major gives you kind of that little sprinkle of magic dust within that same chord progression. So I was doing this going E to A, doing this, basically doing the ballad strum. If you've looked at my videos before, it's called the ballad strum. The dum ticka dum dum ticka dum dum, down down up down 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 up down down with a pause at the end. Dum dum ticka dum dum miss dum ticka dum dum. There's a right hand. Dum ticka dum dum ticka dum dum miss kind of thing going on, and I'm just using the just gently feathery picking. I'm feathery strumming, I should say. E to B. And I always make sure when I hit that I'm hitting the bass notes first, because that's really important to get those bass notes cranking. So there's still no comments in there, guys. So Matt, you've been nailing the last comments. Unless you guys' keyboards are all frozen, feel free to ask me a question. While you're doing that, I'm going to quickly talk about what I've been doing with Patreon. So we're going to be adding some tabs every week. I'm going to be adding those tabs, and I'm going to be thinking about, as we go along, ideas, little snippets, like a riff is a good idea. Like I'll put a riff in, and I'll do a fingerstyle pattern, like a small fingerstyle pattern. I'll tab that out, and it's a small chunk of something, basically, not a good way to describe it, so that you've always got something to practice. So there's a fingerstyle pattern you can play around with, and there's a cool little thing in the left hand. There's going to be a riff that we can do so you can get good at helping you lead. But all these things can be learnt, and you can look at like one line of tab, maybe two tops, that sort of thing, for that little exercise. And then if you're ever thinking like, oh, what will I practice this week? You can kind of just go, oh, hang on, let's just see what's on the Patreon page. Have a look on the Patreon page and be like, oh, Mark's already got some new stuff for this week. And each week you've got fresh things we can do that can help you, that it gives you something to work on. So you don't have to think, what do I learn this week? You can just be like, oh, Mark's got these couple of cool things I can add into what I'm doing. And you might start with that each week. Go, okay, what's the riff this week? And you go, oh, cool, it's this little riff you've got to learn. Oh, cool, that'd be kind of and I'll show you how to use it, and I'll do a little quick video on how to apply that riff to real life guitar playing. And then you got all week, you've got that, oh, how's it go? Oh, okay, so pull off at first. So you're at work, you're on your computer or whatever's going on, or you're at home and you're thinking, what do I do? Just grab the guitar and you can just practice that. You've got that one little small riff, and then I'd actually give you the amount that you would look at practicing for that whole week, which would be kind of a cool little concept. Andrew Marriott, loving this as it really opens up my songwriting with basic chords played with different voicings. So yes, Andrew, and if you're a songwriter, that's really fantastic use for that. Those open chords, especially in the key of E, all those open chords are really good. Once you've got them all down, you've got pretty much every chord within the key, and then you can easily just add a capo. Andrew, this is especially for you. Let's say you put a capo on, actually let's go crazy and put a capo up on 7. Okay, so here's a capo on 7, right? We haven't done much stuff with capo. You can literally do the same chords. So there's my E shape. All of a sudden a new song appears. I don't know what this is. Making my way through this new chord progression, up at the 9th and 7th frets. Don't know how it will end, but I'll make sure I'll play an interesting chord at the end. Go to the chorus now. Now I'm playing a chorus, making some stuff up. I don't know if this is sounding good to you out there, but I'm trying my best to make it sound good. That kind of thing. So you kind of can't go wrong when you've got those chords all working together. You've got every chord you can imagine, and just maybe a few surprises in there at the same time. So yeah, have some fun with that, with those chord changes. I prefer them, to be honest. We've got, I don't know the name, but let's put you up there. Turutia, that's probably a cool way of saying that, but it's probably just a YouTube name. Hello, Mark. You are just fantastic. So much learned from your lessons. Love from India. Hey, thank you, brother. Many blessings here from, well, where am I now? I'm in Nelson, New Zealand, mate. So really appreciate that. Thank you for commenting. Zach, this is my favorite song. Which is that the last one I did when I just made it up? I think you guys always love these ones that I make up. Usually just talking about what I'm doing at that very moment. That's usually what I'm doing, isn't it? Talking to you guys on a live stream, making sure I got enough coffee. So that's where was I before? I was talking about the the riffs and the songs. So you've always got something to play on, which is kind of fun. So I'm excited about that, because I know that the people on Patreon there are going to be able to get something, and whenever they want to, they can just be like, instead of, you might have a full bunch of things you're learning, but you can just be like, what was that one? I'm sorry, to mid. Hey, that guy to your left looks just like you. I like your humor, Zach. You and I would have a good time together, my friend. That is awesome. Yeah, he looks better than, there's one on the, one of them looks real small and one of us looks really big. So I think that's the difference. But we both play relatively in time, which is pretty reasonably good. Nice one, Zach. That's awesome, brother. It's awesome. So yes, the adding of these little ideas in it, it's not just fingerstyle and not just a riff, but there'll be 2 or 3 little ideas that we can add into your playing. And so I'm going to be coming up with things every week to challenge you and to give you something to work on, so you don't have to think about it too hard. But like a personal trainer putting out a program, but not really a program, but just a couple of exercises that you can do this week, making it really simple. So it's just 1 or 2. Because you'll be already learning songs, right? You're already learning whatever song is that you're working on, whatever riffs or solos or fingerstyle things you're learning. But it's nice to add in a couple of little, just a little snack of something new. But not only that, a way of applying it into real life, so that we're not just going, here's a riff, good luck. It's like, here's a riff, this is how I would use it. There'll be a video on it as well as the actual tabs. So You can, the video will just probably be a simple little shot on my phone kind of video, so I don't have to muck around with all the crazy editing, but it'll just gives you the snippet and you can get out of there and start playing some guitar. So hopefully that sounds good to you guys. So who else we got here? We got Greg Eggleston from Indianapolis. What is your Patreon page? So yeah, Mark, I think, is it my banners? Let's see if it is. Where is my Patreon thing? It is not in there. My wife usually does all that clever stuff. It's Patreon. It's Mark the Guitar Guy at forward slash Patreon, I think it is, or Patreon / Mark the Guitar Guy. I really should know this, shouldn't I? Usually there's a bit of paper that tells me all these things. Oh, here we are. I found it. I'm so organized and professional, guys. Patreon / Mark the Guitar Guy. Okay, Patreon / Mark _ the Guitar Guy, and then you'll find me. And there's a bunch of options in there. So that's, if that sounds like you, then that's going to be a really cool thing. I'm going to be contributing to that quite a lot. There's not a, it's been neglected for a long time, and I haven't done a lot in there, to be totally transparent. But it is starting to get some stuff in there quite a lot now. So every week there's been some cool stuff added to that. So did you not have a good materials or course to learn fingerstyle playing? So good materials or course to learn fingerstyle. I haven't done a full course on fingerstyle playing because it's something I haven't done a lot of, is teaching fingerstyle, because what I found was most people online are teaching fingerstyle so well already. So I didn't think you needed me to teach anybody. But what I have found is, yes, I do need to do something with that. So I'm beginning to put together something right now for that. But anything I learn, what I'll be doing is when I learn it straight away, I'll just be putting it on Patreon. So it'll just be there. And then I'll format it as time goes on and put it out so that YouTube has a version of that. And you can potentially buy a course on how to do the fingerstyle, the way I play fingerstyle at least, which would be a cool way of doing this, eh? And we got Amro. Good to see you. Amro, you've been just about every single week. This is really cool. Hey, Mark, how are you? My question is, which strings should I aim at when doing feathery strumming? I hit the bass string when hard strumming, and finally something that's thank you in Arabic writing. Oh, that's awesome. I love this. Isn't this cool that we live in this world with so many amazing cultures, and we have beautiful writing like this and beautiful things from different cultures that we can look at. I really love that. I do love that. Thank you for that, Amro. So I won't go into, I've got some cool Arabic stories from different times when I've been over in different parts of the Middle East, back in my army days. Some really cool stories, some really amazing people. Let's just get out of there. Oh, what do you got? Hope you're very good in life. Oh, thank you, my friend. If that's you in that profile pic, then you are already bossing it, my friend. Just pick alone. That is a great thumbnail. Don't you agree, guys? That looks pretty badass. That looks pretty cool. So what was the question? I can't remember now. Let's go back. Patreon page, we did that. That was cool. Feathery strumming. Oh, yes. So with the feathery strumming, Amro, let me put that up again. So the feathery strumming, basically bass note on the first strum is really what we're aiming for. So when I'm doing that A chord, for example, when I was doing that A, so I'm trying to miss the top string, right? That's the hard part. And in my right hand, let's see if we can show a bit of the right hand. I'm using the body of the guitar. Let me just, actually, I'll just get rid of your comments so we can see the whole screen nice and easily. So that my little finger is anchoring here. The anchoring here is really important. And the anchoring happens for the downstroke of the feathery strum. I'm still quiet though. I'm just putting a little bit more force into that first beat on the bass note, on the A, and then I'm relaxing for the rest of it, okay? I'm sorry if this is out of time, by the way, but let's hopefully they're in sync with each other. And I'm staying, and then I kind of jump away from it and start playing on these two strings at the bottom. And then I'll use the strings in the middle to transition between them. So if I did it slow motion, it'd be like... So can you see how much if you see how much I'm actually contacting the wood of the guitar when I'm playing? So if you have a look at this little finger here, it only comes off occasionally when I'm doing this feathery strum. hidden away in there, but it's literally, it's not completely stationary. It's coming, it's landing and doing this kind of thing. It's doing, if I took away the other finger, it's kind of doing this. And it's landing on its side right there. And I'm just digging in a little bit harder, but still quite feathery, to pull out those accents. That's kind of what I'm doing with that AMRO. So any bass note I'm doing, if I change, and if I'm doing any kind of little interesting thing, I'll just zoom in on the actual part that I'm trying to play a little riff on. Like if I'm doing like if I do a little hammer-on riff like that within a chord, I'm just doing a G chord with it, or the basic one, that kind of thing. I'll just zone right in at that moment on that one string, and then get back to kind of grouping it into 2 or 3 strings of featheriness. So I hope that helps, AMRO. So bass note at the beginning, and you should be good. It won't be such a big deal if you don't do that, though. What else we got? Oh, it's John Frusciante. But a Chili Peppers fan, are we? Not surprising. I was quite excited that that was actually you, though, in that one, my friend. At Matt Davies, thank you. Cool. Oh, Matt's been in there commenting. Matt is a boss. Loveliest guy you'll ever meet. Cool family. Lives in London. And probably got an album coming out soon. Hey, Matt. Zach. Your How to Play Crazy brought me to you years ago. Oh, cool. Same as Matt. Same as Matt. That's pretty cool. Loved how you thought outside the box and played so well to the song. Thank you so much, Zach. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love that song. I do that live with my full band, and play it slightly different for that, but it's such a good song. It's Seal he's a boss. He is a boss. Can you play one finger riff, easy riff? I can, but depends what key we're talking about. I guess that's the only problem with that. So easiest one finger riff is just to slide from note to note, right? Like let's say it's just A, for example, and I'm just going to slide that first finger, trying to get that thing in shot. I'm just going to slide. So if I'm playing in it, I might just do a little easy little slide like that with one finger, or get really good with one finger. I'm just doing a slide. I'm pausing for a moment before I slide, holding it for a split second before I move. Let's get that second guitar. There. So I'm holding it for a split second and then moving up to the next note that I'm trying to get. When you're sliding, by the way, guys, you're aiming. Don't watch it on the way through. Don't look at it. Look at the note you're aiming at. So I'm going to look at this fret here on the 4th fret. I'm going to look here while I'm playing that note. It'll go wherever I look. So if I look at the 7th fret here, wherever I look, it will go. If I look at the 12th fret, see that? Let's try it out yourself, by the way, guys. Give that just to test it out. But if I start looking at the finger I'm playing, and then I'll end up doing this. So I might be. So slides are really cool for that because you don't have to do much, one finger. Or you could do it if you could pull off to a good note, like a 0 note that works really well, like an open string. That was quite a cool one. I did a slide from 2 to 4 on the top on the 5th string, back down to 2, and then pulled off to 0 with one pick. That's quite a lot, though. If you've never played riffs a lot, that's quite a tricky one, though, right? I'm sliding up and then back down again. So 2, 4, 2, and then pull off. And then I'm just flicking it down to get that last note out. But those riffs, just keep them simple, though, for now, though. If that is tricky, just keep riffs simple. Always simple, and chuck them at the end of the bar. You should see my latest videos coming out because they're talking about combining riffs and chords. That'll probably help you out a lot. What else we got here? I must say your playing and guidance is great. Please share the ways to contact you or interact for you more via Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Yes, so Mark the Guitar Guy, basically everything is at Mark the Guitar Guy. So if you want me on Facebook, at Mark the Guitar Guy, Instagram, same thing, at Mark the Guitar Guy. There's probably something in the banners about that. Let's have a look. Clever wife probably has put them in there somewhere. No, she probably has, but I don't know where I've kept them. Brand maybe. Let's just stay out of that because this is boring for you guys. But yes, thank you. Please go and support my page, like and all that sort of stuff. Best place to get me though is through here. And then if you want to be a member of the Patreon, that's probably the most exciting thing that's happening, is doing all the Patreon stuff, because that's when I just get a good idea and I just want to throw it down. I can quickly do that and put it straight on the Patreon page really quickly. And I can share different things from what I learned at the time. You know, when you're doing something and you just go, oh my God, this thing is amazing. I've just figured this out. I can just hit the record button on my phone and quickly do a video for you guys and not have to set up all the lighting and stuff. There'll all be professional videos in there, of course. What do we got? My guitar appreciates the new chords. Love it. Today wasn't the same old. Oh, cool. I love that. Thanks again. My guitar and I have a new relationship. Brilliant. So we're mending relationships with your guitars with these new chord shapes. Your guitar was getting sick of your old chord shapes, and you were getting sick of your chord shapes, and now you've just spiced up your relationship with these brand new chord shapes. Yeah. So we'll do more on these substitutions, I think. Maybe each week we could add in a new substitution on these new chords. So because every chord shape has one that's a real pretty one for guitar playing. Like I showed you that crazy one there, and there's some really basic ones like A major. My favorite one here. It's just 2 fingers. It's up on the 7th and 6th fret. So I've got nothing on the top string, 0. Then it's 7, 6, 0, 0. Gives you that really pretty major chord. You'd use it for a major. Now, if you wanted to do minor, you just do 2 fingers on top of each other, like when you do an A minor down here. Take your first finger off, drag that shape up to the 5th fret. Now that is a cool A minor chord. So you can be like, instead of doing like, let's say you did a G to an A minor and to an F. So you can be like, that sort of thing. I like that. I love that chord. That's kind of been pretty A minor. So yeah, I'm glad your relationship is way better. Andrew, Mark, have you ever thought of having a Facebook group page where the people that follow you can post their playing so you can... I would love to do that. Do you think that would be a cool thing to do? To see how they're doing? You may find it interesting to see. Yeah, I would love that. Maybe, so that's like a Facebook group, yeah? So honestly, I'm so behind the times with all this sort of stuff. Hence, I've been on YouTube for however many years, and I've only just really started cranking things out. Now I'm treating it more like a business than just a hobby, so that you guys can get more benefit from it. So yeah, Andrew, that's probably a really cool thing to do, right? I should definitely look into that. Andrew, do you actually have a page yourself, or do you have a channel yourself, Andrew? It'd be cool to see if that is, if you already do something like that yourself, you might be able to help me out with that sort of thing. Because it would be cool. Like what I was thinking of doing is opening up. I've already mentioned it, but yes, I'd love to see it. Cool. That's awesome. I was actually thinking about doing a call-in situation. Like, so I'd be on one side of the screen, and then the other guy, this guy here, that would be you. And you could play me some stuff, and I could look at what's going on, and we could actually do a little thing where I could actually diagnose your playing, which sounds really scary, but it's not. It's just like, oh, you do this really good, really good, really good. And it's designed to be fun. And I can be like, oh, try holding your pick slightly different, like a little bit deeper with the thumb. And then try sitting slightly. There's some weird stuff sometimes that I suggest, and it makes a big difference. Or it could be just like, I just relax slightly more with this. Or it's amazing how much stuff I can pick up just by watching, because of the thousands of lessons that I've done, because it's something that I actually do. That kind of sets me apart from a few of the other YouTube guys, right? I actually teach guitar to human beings. So it's not like I'm just making an idea up, sitting in my room, in my studio, cranking out a beautiful video teaching you something that actually it's not a lesson. It's just something that gives you an oxytocin boost because it's beautifully shot and it sounds great, which I love that those guys are out there, you know, the Paul Davids and that sort of stuff. And they're still good teachers to an extent, but there's things that they don't address because they've never taught people, or they haven't taught enough people face to face, that I can actually do. So that's where I come in. They do those amazing, beautiful jobs of those videos, but I love it when someone has an actual practical thing that they can take away and apply to the guitar straight away, and it changes their life. I love that. I absolutely love that. And yeah, so I just think that's really important. So yeah, that could be a cool thing where you ring in, you imagine guys ringing in and you just play through something you're working on, or something you've got a problem with, or you give me an idea of what your playing is, and I look at the thing that will give you the biggest benefit straight away. So it makes a big difference. Big Papa, do you still give guitar lessons in person or purely online? Yes, I do guitar lessons in person. So I've got a couple that I'm doing later on today. So if you want to do that, just go to Mark the Guitar Guy on Facebook. It's probably the easiest way, and you click on the book now button and you can book a session with me. And so there's that way, or you can go to the website, which is marktheguitarguy.net, and you can get a guitar lesson that way. So those are really cool options, and it'll work out the calendars for it. So you'll see that it makes it super easy. So it tells you what time it is where you are and what day it is, and you can just click on that time that you want, and it hooks us up. And we pay through PayPal and all that sort of stuff. It's not expensive, depending on what your exchange rate is, obviously, but it's not ridiculous expensive. You'd be thinking, oh, he's on YouTube, so he's going to be super expensive. But if you're in the States or Europe, it's not a big deal. Maybe in India, it might be a little bit different with the currency. It just depends on I guess, where you're at with that. But I would love to meet you, and Big Papa, be cool. And we can get to hang out and be friends, and I can get to know your playing. I love to walk along the journey with any of you guys out there. It's my favorite thing to do, to be honest. So, Mr. Mark, if possible, could you play this song, Windy and Warm, Tommy Emmanuel? Man, I don't know if I know that one. I only know one song. I've only ever learned one song, and it's Precious Time by Tommy Emmanuel. Let me know if you guys want me to play that. Maybe I'll play it on the last thing we do before we finish up today. But Tommy Emmanuel, amazing. I don't know if you know the story. I actually hung out with Tommy. I got to go and pick him up at the airport, and we hung out for the day. He had a show that night, and I got to drive him around. He likes Thai food, so I went and got him a whole bunch of awesome Thai food. Got to meet his wife, some other cool guys that were part of his show. It was pretty special indeed. And I've been to 2 of his concerts before. Worth flying to New Zealand for a lesson in person, Matt. Matt, you would say that, mate. You're a sold out, loyal follower of mine this whole time, which has been amazing. Is Chet Atkins? It's Chet Atkins. Maybe I'm Chet Atkins. Oh, it's Chet Atkins that does that song. I got you what you mean now. It's Chet Atkins that does Windy and Warm, but it's Tommy Emmanuel's version you'd like to hear. Gotcha. Written by Jerry Reed. Nice. Proper connoisseur there, DC 808. No one, is it 808 because that's the drum? But and I've got, how is life as a full-time musician? Yes, it's awesome. Honestly, I've been a full-time musician pretty much since I was 18, weirdly, with the army. When I was in the army, I was actually a full-time musician initially, and then became a guitar teacher and musician at night. So I love it because you have your own freedom. It's a very different life, but you get paid for whatever you do, and you get paid for making people happy, and which is a kind of a cool thing to do. Just saw Tommy Emmanuel last month in San Antonio. Amazing. Wow, really. He's such a performer, right? Any other guys out there seen Tommy Emmanuel live? If you haven't, you need to go and see him. It's not just a guitar player. He is a showman. He is a comedian. He is a absolute star. Beautiful human being, and you can't help. The little story about Tommy Emmanuel, if you haven't heard this already, let me just get out of the screen so you're not looking at 2 of me, and let's not do that one. Let's go. Sorry guys, I'm talking this through like my dad does. My dad talks everything through. Just going to click that button there. Yeah, when I met Tommy Emmanuel, picked him up from the airport, right? He'd just flown from Australia to New Zealand. It's like a 3-hour flight, and we took him drove him to his hotel, to where he was staying, beautiful little hotel. His entourage were looking after him, so they went inside to make sure the accommodation was all sorted out. So pulled up in the van, opened the door. First thing he does, grabs one of his guitars, one of his gorgeous guitars out of the back, pulls it out of the case, and he's sitting underneath a cherry blossom tree. Just happened to be where the van was parked. And I got some video footage of it somewhere. And he pulls the guitar out and he just starts playing as if he's in a concert. That's how he plays. He doesn't just go like he's doing a warm-up. He starts playing as if he's playing to God, you know, like straight away. It's so beautiful. And he's not doing it to impress anybody. He's doing it because he cannot wait to play guitar. It's like ADHD for guitar. Really kind of cool. So, and he was legitimately just jamming away. And then it was kind of cool because a couple walked past him. They were staying at the hotel because they were about to go and see his show that night. And they couldn't believe that he's staying at the same hotel they were at. Oh my God, it's Tommy Emmanuel, right here. And he was like, how's it going, guys? It was really cool, really, really cool. So that's just to give you an idea of the man himself. He's the real deal. He's sold out for guitar. It's not a show. It's not just a job. It's his life. It really does mean everything for him. So I'm sure you guys knew that if you're a Tommy Emmanuel fan anyway. Thanks, Mark. Do more live sessions. Waiting for your next lesson. Have you ever been to India? I've never been to India. I would love to go. It looks crazy and beautiful all at the same time, and I'd love to do it. It'd be really cool. A lot of cricket fans in India too. So, and I grew up playing cricket here in New Zealand. Everyone knows Richard Hadley and all the people that, you know, India used to play against. So it's pretty cool. Matt Davies, awesome, Zach. That's amazing. Would love his rendition of the Pink Panther. Cool. Yeah, that's Tommy Emmanuel talking about again, guys. I love this in the chat. Zach, wow. Yeah, cool story, right? With Tommy Emmanuel. That was really cool. And we got involved in a few little jams as well at the backstage. That was kind of nice. Didn't get too carried away. It's not one of those things where you just want to be like, hey, check this out, Tommy, because he's just so awesome. And I know that anything I did would just be so average in comparison, but it was just a joy to be able to play along and I played guitar with Tommy Emmanuel. It was pretty lucky, pretty special moment. So yeah, guys, I'm probably going to finish up now. Let me play a little bit of Precious Time, shall we? I'll just tune my guitar to drop D because and no warm-up, so it's going to be interesting. And I'll put on both cameras for this because it'll look sweet. All right. Let's get oh, we got some more chat. Hey Mark, could you play Autumn Leaves? Oh, sorry man, I'm gonna have to end up on this other one. I'll upload those videos. Yeah, I should do that. I'll definitely chuck them on my Patreon for sure. Little teaser, aren't I? But yeah, I should do something about that. So anyway, Precious Time. So let's wish me luck. This is a big piece. Something like that. Bit rough. There we are, guys. Martin the Guitar Guy signing off. I hope you had fun. Can't wait to see you next week. Check out the channel for the next videos. Like and subscribe and all that cool stuff. And thank you, all you guys, for commenting and hanging out with me. This has been really fun. I've actually really enjoyed it. And I'm going to go to bed now. No, just kidding. I'm going to do some work. We'll see you later. Good to see you.